Hello, I'm Vice Mayor Steve Kay, and I'm here with Alice Grace STITES, who is the Museum Director and Chief Curator for the new 21C Museum Hotel in Lexington. And I know there's been a lot of interest in having this come to Lexington. Now that it's open, we're going to have an opportunity to look around, talk with Alice Grace about what's going on here. So let me start by first saying thank you for coming and taking the time, and tell us a little bit about your background first, and then we'll talk about 21C.
Sure. Thank you for coming to 21C Museum Hotel Lexington this morning. We're really thrilled to be in Lexington. As you know, 21C is now in 5 locations. This is our 5th, and we've been really eager to open in this beautiful historic Beaux-Arts building. I have been working with 21C as a Chief Curator for a number of years, about 5 years since we began the expansion. I started my career as a curator at the Speed Art Museum many years ago, and worked on various projects all involving different kinds of contemporary art, and now I'm dedicated full-time to working on curating the exhibitions and commissioning site-specific installations and other programming throughout our, what we like to think of as a multi-venue museum.
Okay, so you're the curator for all of the museums and all of the hotels.
Yes,
Great.
yes. Although, as I hope people will come to discover, we do a lot of local programming, which will be organized by our museum manager, Alex Brooks, who's a longtime Lexington resident, member of the art scene. And we really like to have a program that is both kind of globally connected, showcasing artwork from all around the world, but also locally engaged and collaborating with other cultural and civic institutions in Lexington.
Yeah, well, we're not here to talk about Louisville and the Speed Museum, but I can't help but mention, I'm sure you're excited too, about the new Speed, and just a plug for people to go to Louisville and see that new facility.
It's really remarkable. I think Kulapat Yantrasad is an outstanding architect, and he's created a space that is really exciting to be in. I think will just draw more national attention to Kentucky as a place where great art happens.
Yeah, so the whole concept of a museum hotel, talk just a little bit about that. How'd that get, where'd that come from, and how's it working?
Well, it came from our visionary founders, Steve Wilson and Laura Lee Brown, who are passionate collectors of contemporary art and wanted to share that passion with the public. Understanding, experiencing how much that had shaped their lives and perspective, they thought other people should have that access. And they also wanted to revitalize downtown Louisville and now the downtowns of several other cities, really focusing on development in the urban core as a way to preserve our farmland, but also to inject vitality economically and culturally into these cities. So they didn't want to build a private museum where people would have to pay admission, or that would be supported by the public in some other way, but to build something where a business could employ people and that business could support the programming. So that was the passion, and it's very different from, a lot of hotels display art, but this is not art for decoration. This is a museum program where there are exhibitions that change, that are curated, that are, cover a whole wide range of topics that have some relevance to what's happening in the world today. Okay,
so it's a little unusual. We're going to take a brief pause and walk around and show people some more of what's actually going on here. But this is a good start, so we'll take a break and then come right back.
Okay.
Okay, we're back. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the artwork. Actually, Alice Grace is going to talk about the artwork. I'm going to ask her questions, but here, this is what was in the background. Tell us a little bit about this piece and how it relates to the general way in which the collection is put together.
Sure. So this is a diptych by Anthony Goicolea. He's an American artist, and this is from a whole series of photographs and a film he did called The Septembrists. And you'll notice that the figures, the two male figures, are in uniform. The exhibition that we are showcasing is our first exhibition here in Lexington. It's called Dress Up, Speak Up, Costume and Confrontation. So one of the similarities that you'll see in all of the artwork is that there are figures in different kinds of costumes. These look sort of from the 1920s. You'll see people dressed in what looks like 19th century Victorian clothing. You'll see people in religious garb and in contemporary streetwear. But in all of the works, the artists are using costume to create different narratives about issues that are relevant today. So Goicolea is an artist who's been collected in depth by 21C. There are a lot of works in the collection, so you'll see some more of his in some of the other rooms as well.
Okay, well, let's take a walk.
Okay.
We'll see. All right, so now we're in the hallway. We were in a meeting room, now we're in a hallway, and this is a pretty large piece.
This is a very large photograph.
I can see the theme of costume.
Right, so it's kind of clear what the connection is, but of course a very different topic. This is, as many people will see right away, a reenactment of the Last Supper, but instead of, as in Leonardo da Vinci's famous rendering, this is a photograph, and the disciples are female wearing the hijab, and this is called Last Supper Gaza. So as much as this has a relationship to an art historical precedent, the artwork is also meant to make us think about conditions in Palestine. They are posed exactly as the figures are in the original, but of course played by women instead of men, and they are Muslim, not Christian. The meal that they're sharing as their Last Supper is rather sparse, which is in reference to conditions in that part of the world today.
Okay, and so the food that's on the table is what's different, is one of the things that's different. Is that right?
Yes.
So it's more...
Yes, I don't think they had dinner rolls.
No, probably not. Okay, well, let's keep moving.
We're walking down the hallway, and I should say, we were in what is a meeting room, but when those aren't occupied, all of the spaces are open to the public, and we're open 24 hours a day, free of charge, so you can explore these hallways and those rooms. This is another work from the same series by Goicolea that we were seeing from the Septembrists, and you can see that they have these boys have different uniforms on. They're carrying instruments. There's no sound in the film. There's just the Provokiev's Peter and the Wolf is the soundtrack. I think that the photographs themselves are intriguing. Now, you have to really walk by this piece to experience it. A lot of contemporary art requires participation, is interactive, and this is a lenticular.
So I just had the experience. I've seen it before, but essentially what you see changes as you walk by it because of the way in which it's...
The kind of paper, it's a lenticular photograph, so it's the material, what he's printing on, that as you walk by removes her gown.
Okay, and if people, the thing it reminds me of course, is the holographic images.
Yes, exactly. It functions the same kind of way. Yes.
But this has got a full image on it, and
it's actually, again, a reproduction of a famous work from art history. So the couple are taken from a painting by Hayez that hangs in the Brera collection in Milan. It's a very famous work of Italian romantic painting, but the contemporary artist, Bei Jun-sung, has transformed it by recasting the female character with an Asian model, and placing it within the context of a church ceremony. The background in the original is plain, and disrobing her as our eyes do as we walk by.
Well, fun, neat. Okay. Okay, now we're in the lobby, and one of the things that I noticed before we talk about this beautiful piece of art is that we've got the blue penguins, which are a signature for 21C. Started with red penguins in Louisville, is that right? And then, I don't know what other colors, but come to Lexington, of course, they're blue.
They are. They're yellow in Cincinnati, green in Bentonville, and fuchsia in Durham. But of course, we knew that the blue ones had to come to Lexington. The penguins are artworks by Cracking Art Group. They're a European-based collective, and they make animals in oversized colors out of plastic. They want us to pay attention to the use of plastic in the world. They're playful. They're fun. The penguins roam around. They don't like to leave the building, but they do like to play with you if you come visit.
Oh, great. Okay, so then this piece that we're standing in front of?
This is a very recent, one of numerous pieces in this exhibition by Ebony G. Patterson. Ebony is a native of Jamaica, where she spends some of her time, and she's also on the faculty at the University of Kentucky here in Lexington. Several of these pieces have been in the 21C collection. We're really interested in her use of materials and her subject matter, which has to do with identity and popular culture in her native Jamaica and beyond. Her use of materials is really amazing. She does this applique on top of tapestries that have been commercially printed, and then she really blings them out with very contemporary subjects. So it's hard to see the subject here, but there is a figure lying amidst all of these flowers.
Really?
Well, see, there's a part of a figure, actually.
Okay.
You can see a torso and legs here. This is from a series that she did called Dead Trees. And it was really about the discovery of images that are on social media of anonymous victims of violence. Ebony's work really has to do with issues of visibility and invisibility, what we see and what we don't want to see, who is seen in society and who is ignored. And so the kind of over-the-top use of color, material, and sequins and all that is underscoring what we look at and what we don't look at and who gets to be seen. So she's really talented, and you can see these shoes here were specially done for, as if someone has just taken off their shoes and disappeared.
Okay. And all of the pieces in this lobby area?
In this particular lobby area are works by Ebony, and we're really proud to present them, and some of them are on loan from the artist.
Okay. I think we have time for one more. We'll take a little more walk. So now we're in kind of the intermediate lobby, still lots of artwork, and now we have this three-dimensional piece. So
this is the Food Fairy by Inka Shonibare. Food Fairy by Inka Shonibare, MBE. He insists that you use that honorific with his name, Member of the Order of the British Empire. He was born in London, raised in Nigeria, now makes photographs, sculpture. There's a film in another gallery, work in all media. And the signature element in his work is that the figures are always clothed in what look like Dutch wax fabrics, alluding to the history of the empire.
So it's got it's a familiar...
Costuming is very important in Shonibare's work, yes, because he's looking back through the history of the British Empire and its impact on people and on lives all over the world that continues, today.
Okay, I think we'll take a brief break and wrap up then. We're now in the restaurant, and we want to talk a little bit about one thing that was actually designed for this location. So, the lights.
This is your weather forecast. This is tomorrow's weather. This is an artwork by a Swedish duo, Bigert and Bergström. And those globes, which are arranged in the shape of atmospheric molecules, are plugged into the National Weather Service. And they give you a sense, maybe not exactly what it's going to feel like tomorrow, but what the pattern might feel like. I can see it's going to be pretty warm because the temperature globe is turning red.
So it's going to warm up and maybe a little bit cloudy.
You can see how it moves quickly.
Yeah.
They're the patterns of the weather that will change. It looks like it'll be a little overcast, but we know the forecast can often be wrong. So.
Right. Okay. Well, maybe that would be a good place
Yeah.
to just stop and wrap up. I just want to say again, thank you for taking the time and
thank you.
talking about these artworks. I want to tell everybody, one thing you said, we kind of went by it quickly. This is open to the public, 24 hours a day,
7 days a week,
7 days a week,
always free.
always free. It's a very interesting experience. Please come and take advantage of it. We're so happy to have you and 21C, the hotel, the restaurant, everybody here helping to make downtown a more kind of exciting and viable space. So again, thank you.
Thank you so
And
much.
thank you all for watching.